Good morning from Jerusalem. Today I'm going to do something totally different. One of my subscribers asked me to follow one of the articles of Shimon Gibson, a wonderful professor that I love, and he shows us that there are alternatives. There are more, but he is talking about one option, alternative way of the Via Dolorosa. If we are talking about the Via Dolorosa that we know today, if that's the Temple Mount, you can see the Antonia, which is a fortress / tower that took care that no one will actually do something bad in the Temple Mount at the time of King Herod. And we know that St. Paul, when the Jews wanted to hurt him, they took him to the Antonia, according to the book of Acts. Then the Via Dolorosa starts from the Antonia. Wait, I need to see it. Through the Antonia, here it is. And then it goes to, you can see the numbers of the station, first one, third, fourth, fifth, Via Dolorosa, all the way to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. That article of Professor Gibson wants us to actually talk about the Tower of David, which was a fortress of King Herod, and his palaces, palace that was right here. And the idea is that he was judged by Pontius Pilate right here, went through, let's say, St. James Street, Arad, to the area of the Cardo. That's where the gate was, Ginat Gate, and he went to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Everything that you see here wasn't exist at the time of Jesus. It was outside the wall. Then now when you know what I'm going to do, let me tell you that I'm dedicated that tour to Pastor Rob and his wife, Kyla Windsor, and to their 4 children. Pastor, if that is a surprise for you, you must understand that one of your followers, who you helped him a lot through the last 2 years with the COVID, he asked me to do that for you. Should I tell you that his name is Rob, or should I? Don't worry, I'm sure that he will tell you that his name is Rob. Dad, what you see here is the western wall of the city. It was built, the last one, the one that you see, at the 16th century. And what I'm trying to prove to you is that everything from here to there was outside the wall at the time of Jesus. Then let's leave Jaffa Gate. That wasn't Jaffa Gate at the time. It wasn't that location at that time, but you can see here something that is important. Very important for me to show you. You can see the wall there. This is part of the fortress that every ruler of Israel, of Judea, actually used it. One of them was King Herod that rebuilt it together with an amazing palace that was all over there. And yesterday I took a video from the ramparts that you will be able to see it. What I'm going to do for the first time is to talk about why Mr. Gibson believes that this is the Judgment Gate, why it's actually there, and I'll try to follow the alternative Via Dolorosa to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Dad, let's continue. It will take me 5 minutes to reach that point. It will take you, let's say, less than 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Oops, here we are. Now, we didn't reach yet the Judgment Gate or the easiest gate that I will talk about, but what I want you to see is that the 16th century wall of Suleiman the Magnificent was built on top of ancient walls. The first important thing that I want you to see is that there are tombs here from the first temple time. Now, we know that Jews are buried outside the wall. Here it is, outside the wall. Another thing that I want you to see is part of the second temple wall from the time of King Herod. Then in that case, we know that that area was the area of King Herod city as well. Now let's continue to visit the gate. It will take me, let's say, 1 minute to get there, and let's enjoy the walls and the amazing scenery of the new city of Jerusalem. Until we will reach that place, I want you to understand that there are here 7 periods, 7 earlier period of time. We do have, of course, the Ottomans one, and then the Ayyubis from 13th century, the Fatimids, 11th century wall, Byzantine, 7th century, and of course King Herod, and before King Herod, the Hashmonite. Then in that case, you can see kind of a variety periods of time. I mean, in one place, you can see everything. Why it's like that? Because the story of Jerusalem is about building, destroying, building, destroying, building, destroying. Then it's like a layer above a layer above a layer, and here you have 7 different layers. We are getting closer to the Judgment Gate, that now most of the scholars believe that it was one like that. Is it the one that Jesus would judge here? We don't know. We don't know because all the Gospels gave us information about the trial itself, but they didn't give us the location of it. And this is one of the reasons that in history we had few options of Via Dolorosa. And here we are. The sun is in our eyes. Now I'll try to hide it from you. Right, let's describe it. You can see that something is strange here. It looks like there's a corridor here, and you can see some stairs. All right, let's continue. I'm not even trying to explain what we're actually looking at. Just want you to think that we are climbing up. You can see the 16th century wall in front of you, but there's something strange here. To the left, you can see that there are stairs to the upper part, and here, part of the wall, there are more stairs, goes to nowhere. Nowhere. Strange, isn't it? Then what's happening here? Let me show it to you. What Magen Broshi and our scholar wanted to show you, that the corridor that you see here is a little bit further than the corridor that you see in front of you. We are right here. Then there's kind of a wall here. You can see it. You can see part of the wall there. Then we are in between the walls, the two walls. We are here. The stairs that you see was part of an entrance, and to where we will talk about it soon. And there was one tower here and another tower that you can still see, and there's a place that you have to climb. Then let's climb it, but I want you to see it to understand that it's in between the walls, and there's an upper part, maybe the Gafta, Aramite, maybe it's the higher place. Then we are climbing up, maybe the Gafta. And what I want you to understand that it's an alternative. I'm not saying that the 14th century Via Dolorosa that I'm doing almost every week, it's not a true one. What I want you to understand that there are some scholars who actually believe that, that it can be different. You can see the stairs here, you can see that it's an ancient path. All right, from here you can see everything. The first corridor that actually went all the way there. And the two walls, one here and one is there. And we are in between those two walls. Let's go to another model to show you where we are. And I, with so many other scholars, trying to understand if that is the place that Jesus will judge. Why we are saying it? Mainly because the Antonia, that today is the Praetorium, today it's the place that Pontius Pilate judged Jesus. It's a small place. It's important to guard the Temple Mount. And yes, 3 times a year, everyone there, are taking care. I mean, the Romans took care that no one will make some damages in the temple. And remember what's happened in the book of Acts? St. Paul was taken out of it and went to the fortress. We believe that it might be the fortress of the Antonia. But when Pontius Pilate and other rulers came to Jerusalem, they came from Caesarea, which was their base camp, and in those 3 festivals, holidays, Jewish festivals, they actually came to here. Then, what is behind the wall at the time of King Herod? You can see part of the fortress. We saw it. Remember the fortress of Tower of David, which is actually wasn't part of King David time. It's huge. It's a fortress, and it's the highest place of the city. And today it's Jaffa Gate, or at least the inner part of Jaffa Gate. And then you can see a beautiful palace of King Herod. Another wall to protect him from bad people, and a little bit outside in the gardens of the king there is a gate. This is a gate that was built, as we believe, at the time of King Herod, and that was another optional entrance to the to his temple and fortress. And you can see that it's, even if you will enter through here, you have to cross that place, or to cross that place to reach him. And remember, King Herod always said, someone might kill me, I must protect myself. Then we are still following you, Pastor Windsor, Rob and Kyla, and your 4 dear children. Let's sit there and let's talk about what can actually happen here. Then I'm sitting right here. The cross will be in front of us, and Let us see what we can see. Why Jesus was judged. I know that some of you say because the Jews didn't wanted him to be alive, he was against them. But I must tell you, although the Bible mentioned that so many Jews wanted to kill him, you must understand that so many Jews was with him. Then another thing that you must understand, when Pontius Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And even though Jesus didn't answer, he blamed him for being one against the Roman regime. The Romans already crowned King Herod, and then other kings, and then the Romans rulers who've been here, but they didn't crown Jesus. And if he believes that he is the king of the Jews, then he is against the Romans. The Jews couldn't kill him because of those reasons. The only one who can do that are the regime, are the people who control Israel, the Romans. Then in that case, crucifixion was a punishment for death. If you are against the Romans, we're going to crucify you because we want everyone to understand not to do what you are doing. And they will do that in a very important place. We will call it the Golgotha. Even the book of John, John, I think 18:31, they say the Jews actually answer Pilate, "We cannot kill anyone." Then in that case, the only one who can do that was Pontius Pilate. Another problem is Pontius Pilate, Pilate himself. Why? Because so many evidence that we have outside the New Testament about that ruler who was the only ruler in Jerusalem, not the Jews weren't the rulers, then he wasn't a nice man as the New Testament actually mentioned. He was cruel, he was racist, he killed a lot of Jews, he robbed the Jewish temple, he killed a lot of the Samaritans, and that is the reason why he was kicked out by the Caesar of Rome from Israel few years after Jesus died. The New Testament actually tells us about how the mercy of that man, the innocence of him. Then there are so many question marks about him. About the Praetorium. If that is the Praetorium, which is, as you can see, almost at the edge of the Western Wall, but the Western Wall at the time of King Herod surrounded Mount Zion as well. Today it's not. Then in that matter, we know from the Gospels that the trial was outside and inside. From time to time they took Jesus into the Praetorium, and from time to time it was outside the Praetorium. Here, because of the idea of the gate, we can understand it. We can understand it. Look at that. We're standing somewhere here. Then you can see the entrance, and you can see the Gavta. Is that Lysistrasius? Is that a plaza that people actually looked at him? Maybe. Then you could see Jesus there, and if they wanted to take him to a hidden place, remember there's another gate here that we actually saw there, and he was in and out. And that is according to the Gospels themselves. Then I'm quite happy to see that it can happen. Another thing that I want you to understand, maybe I actually didn't mention it, but it wasn't so important at that time, is that there's no reason for the leader of the Romans to be in the Gulf at the Antonia. It's a small tower. When they came to here, they stayed in that area. I mean, there's no reason not to stay in the big places. There's no reason for Pontius Pilate to go through all over the city and to be attacked by the Jews or the Samaritans who were there. Then in that case, when he came from Caesarea, he came from there and went straight into the palace without any problem. Then another reason why that place can be the place. The name of that place. First of all, it's the Judgment Gate or the Judgment Place. I believe that Jesus wasn't the only one who was judged by so many by the leaders of Jerusalem, even at the time of King Herod. Then in that case, a judgment place. But a lot of the scholars call it the easiest place, and that is a very important question. Why the easiest were here? The easiest is one of the groups at the time of Jesus that went out of Judaism, although they saw themselves as Jews, I think just like St. Peter. I'm not sure that St. Peter saw himself as a Christian. Later on, it became to be a Christianity. St. Peter and others wanted to, were waiting just like the rest of the Jews for the Messiah to come. And he came. Obvious, that was Jesus. Then in that case, I'm not sure that St. Peter saw himself as one of the Christians of today. Remember, he didn't enter the Cornelius' house. He didn't eat non-kosher food. Simon the Tanner, all those stories. Then it actually tells us that at the beginning, he didn't think about a different kind of religion. Later on, it became something like that. Then one of the groups were the Isis that some believe that they are the organ, they are the seeds of Christianity as well. They couldn't enter to the city just because they were pure. Then they didn't enter the city. If we're talking about that, think about the Jews who brought Jesus to here to be judged by Pontius Pilate. They didn't enter to the Praetorium. They didn't enter to the temple because sorry, not the temple, to King Herod Palace, because they were already pure. They were already ready for Passover. Then they gave him to them. I don't know about you, but for me, to ask questions is amazing. Even though it might be that it's not a true story, I love to talk about things like that because it makes me happy to search for more and more about Jesus' life. Why King Herod loved the Isis? Because one of them, Menachem, came to him and said, "You, my dear Herod, you're going to be the king of the Jews." Oh! And from that moment, they became his favorite people. When we read the Bible about the Herodians, maybe those are the easiest. And now, I want to go to the other side of the wall. The other side of the wall, and you could see it from the video that I'm prepared from that tower and that tower, is part of the parking lot of the Samaritans in the Samaritan Quarter. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to jump over it. We'll reach the parking lot, and for the first time in my life, I will try to figure out what was Jesus Via Dolorosa from here to the other side. What I believe is that he didn't go all the way to here and then went to the Golgotha, which is there, mainly because there were too many people. Remember, kill him, kill him, kill him, crucified him, crucified him. There was a bunch of Jews who didn't like him. Then it's better to go from the other side of the palace to the Golgotha that was outside the wall. Then are you ready for it? 3, 2, 1. We are already at the other side of the wall. Just want to show you that the gate is right at. I hope that you can see it, because for me it's a little bit difficult to see it. You will see exactly where I'm looking from. Got it. And where we are, at the parking lot of the Armenians quarter. I don't want to destroy the plans, but you can see that are excavated here as well. Then the gate's supposed to be somewhere there. What we're going to do now, the second part of the tour. First of all, I'm going to add the view that I saw yesterday from the towers, from that tower and the other tower. Then you will see kind of an aerial point of view of the gate somewhere here. We have so many questions about the judgment of Jesus. Now you can see it in a beautiful way. It looks like that there are stairs go all the way up, and then there's a wall, and maybe the Gafta, which is kind of the upper place, was right there, and Jesus was judged by Pontius Pilate right there, and his Via Dolorosa started there. Next time that I will prepare the tour, I will do it from the other side. Then you can see the gardens, and you know that it was outside the city, the gardens, and the judgment place was here. And if you will read the scripts, the Gospels, part of it was outside, part of it was not. And there are so many scholars that actually ask themselves, what is the truth in that story? Because let's face it, Pontius Pilate, according to the New Testament, was a very generous guy, very polite, very easy to convince. But in fact, he was one of the worst Roman rulers who rule in Jerusalem. Here we are. You can see the stairs to the easiest gate, or to the gate of the palace. And if it's there, it means that the other side of it is somewhere here. I will try to enter to the parking lot if they will let me, and I will be as nice as I can to show you the other side, and as I believe to show you another option of the Via Dolorosa. I'm gonna go now according to, and I must say, according to rumors. Gibson in his research didn't say it exactly how Jesus actually went to the Golgotha carrying here his cross, but I must tell you that that area used to be the garden, remember, and the Praetorium was here, including the Armenian seminar, and you can see the tower of the fortress, King David Tower, which is the fortress that King Herod used, and later on Pontius Pilate used it too. Now, the exit is from there, but they built that parking lot, let's say, a few months ago, and before we are building something, we are excavating, and I want you to see the mosaics that we found. Gibson himself said that the Byzantine destroyed that area of the Praetorium and built some churches. He might be right, because as you can see, this is a church. I don't know a lot of information about the church. I can show you the nave here, the two corridors, and you can see a nice mosaic. The guy that works here thinks that this is the Armenian mosaic. I won't say no. I won't say no because I don't know. I will check it again and again and again. I try to read about it. The only thing that I found is that I found the mosaic, but not more than that. And look at the beautiful mosaic you can find here. It's heading to the east, just like a regular church. Is it from the Byzantine time? It looks like, but I don't know. Then I will try to talk about it again, or to make another video of it when I will have more information about it. If you look at it, you can see that the gate is here, and I'm standing now here. This is the palace, one part of the palace, another part supposed to be there, and the gardens. Remember, the wall that you see here wasn't there at the time of King Herod. This is a 16th century wall, and King Herod, Praetorium and palace was 1st century. Huge difference. Then, Pastor Rob, I'm blessing your cross here, and I must say that it might be the first cross that their church saw after 2,000 years. Oh, let's say 600 years. Maybe. Look how beautiful is that Jerusalem cross on the road. There we are living. The parking lot behind us, the wall that you see here is the wall of the Armenian, and the building that you see right there is a museum that they just renovated. We are waiting for the להתראות לך נשמה, תודה. We are waiting for the COVID-19 to disappear, and then they will open the gate to the museum, which I saw it like 15 years ago. It wasn't the best museum ever, but it's a beautiful place with so many evidence from the past. Then I hoped that it will be even better now. The mosaic of that church, the guard here told me that it might be that they will move it to the museum. Then you saw it in Sito right now. Patriarch. The Armenian Patriarch is above us. I think the dining room is there as well. Beautiful place. Well, look at the elephant. And you can see the Armenian seminar and the entrance to one of the most beautiful churches ever, owned by the Armenians, of course, St. James Church. And every day between 3 to 3:30 p.m., 1500 to 1530 hours, you can actually listen to beautiful chanting. Such a beautiful place, 12th century church. Beautiful blue tiles. Now, we believe that Jesus went out from there. Again, I think I mentioned it. Yeah, I did. I mentioned it because it was safer and quicker. Then let's try to do whatever he did. We will go to Ginat Gate. That's the place that we believe he left the city. Then we will turn right we will say goodbye to the Armenian Orthodox Patriarch Street. And you will enter to St. James Street that leads us to the Western Wall, the Jewish Quarter. About the stations, if we are talking about alternative route, then so many stations of the Via del Rosa won't be exist. Like 3 times he fell, he met his mother on the way. Veronica, important places, important stations. We know that at some point Saint Simon helped me to carry the cross. Now I have, if I'm talking about that kind of tour, I think I know where it's happened, but I don't know for sure. It's like from the bottom of my heart, but there's nothing about it. Even Gibson didn't talk about a lot about what's happened to him from the Praetorium to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But I'm following my heart more than science now. Then we are leaving Ararat Street. Actually, we are entering to Ararat Street. We are leaving Or HaChaim Street that leads to the Jewish Quarter, which begins here, and to the Western Wall. Someone shout Abba. Maybe he will shout again. We entered to the Armenian Quarter. He actually shouted, Abba, Father Barabbas. Remember him? Oh, a group. I never saw groups here. It's not the tourist area. And it's in English. Listen, let's listen to what he say.
If we want to pass a message to the Iranians, we probably need to do it through Turkey. There's also another factor. Arab citizens of Israel, the 20% of the population, 18% are Muslim, of our citizens. You realize for them it's very important to go to Mecca. They cannot go on an Israeli passport to Mecca. There is a deal which allows them to land in Istanbul, get Turkish documents, and then fly to Mecca. Again, 20% of the population.
We're looking at the Armenian flag with two places that the Russian occupied lately. It was Russian. They did it. I always forget the name. It's too difficult for me, but it's actually symbolized it. Then this is the Armenian Quarter, but in the Armenian Quarter, we can find one of the most ancient churches in the whole city, 12th century as well. Some say that it's earlier than that. It's St. Mark Church. I will upload a video that I took yesterday. Yesterday they let me enter, although they are renovating the church. And they speak Aramite, not the Galilean Aramite, not from Galilee, but still Aramite. And let's read the sign. Not that one, because that we cannot understand. But that one we can. The Syrian Orthodox Church, St. Mark's Convent, the upper room, the canaculum, and the house of St. Mark was here. And in this, I say, nice and modest and full with energy church, you can find, and you can see it in my video that I uploaded, that I took yesterday. You can find a painting of the Madonna and Son, and Jesus, of course. That was taken by Luke, the evangelist, according to what he believed. And I went to the upper room. Then you can see it in the video. But we are heading to the gate of the city. Then this is still the city. This is still the city, and we're leaving the Armenian quarter and entering slowly with the cross to the Jewish quarter. Surrounding Conrad Street. And we're entering to Chabad Street. That's the beginning and the end of the Jewish quarter, and later on we will reach that area to go with the cross in the Orthodox area. It's not something to roam on about, but it's okay, as you can see. Not so far away from here is the gate. Sadly, I have to make like rounds and rounds to reach it. Now we will turn left, and we will reach the corridor, the main street, from north to south. I'm talking about the Roman time, 6th century. In this area, it's 6th century. Here it is. But let's look at it from a lower point, that you will be able to see it. Then, sidewalk, the street, you can see stones from 6th century. You can see the columns from 6th century. Shops on one side of the road, and shops at the other side of the road. And the columns that you see here, see the columns there, cover a roof of the corridor, the sidewalk, that was against the snow and against the rain and the sun. Look how wide is that street, and you can find that kind of street in every Roman city.
Sir.
Oh, something is wrong with me? Then we are going now through the Jewish shopping mall at the old city, which is part of the corridor. And I'm not here for the shops. Then Pastor Wisner, Rob and Kyla and your 4 children, we are reaching the end of the city. Da-da-dam. In that area, you can find walls from the ancient time. It's a little bit difficult to see, but what you actually seeing here is walls of the city from the first temple time, around 586 BC, and walls from 70 AD that have been destroyed by the Romans. Then that was the end. I mean, walls. If there are walls here, it means that the city ends here as well. You see more of it, and that will describe you. This is the first temple time. This is from King Herod time. And usually it's so empty here. Now people are standing in it. Let's wait for them to go and then we will actually talk about it. Then it's a kind of a mishmash of different kind of walls. Remember that we started the tour with 7 different kind of walls of the western wall of the city. And here you can see wall from 7th or 8th century BC. Right in front of you, it's a wall from 1st and 2nd century BC, Hashmonite wall. This is from the other wall there is from the First Temple time. On top of it, you can see part of the corridor, the street from the 2nd century AD. You got it. It's tricky, you must say. Then in that case, what those 3 people are looking at is a gate. Then if that's the wall, someone must enter or exit the city. We believe that it might be Ginat gate. Then it means that that is the city at the time of Jesus. And this is outside the city from the time of Jesus. And we know that Saint Simon came from the garden. Might be from there. Then maybe here, in that area, he met the Roman soldiers who forced Simon, Saint Simon, to carry the cross. Saint Simon came from Libya of today. He came for one of the festivals of Jerusalem. This is a Jewish festival that everyone knows. This is Passover. Jesus was here because of the same reason. Jesus didn't visit the city in Easter time. Easter time is because of Jesus. Then now when we know it, let's go to see something. I'm sure that you will look at me and say, can you see a gate here? And you're right, it's difficult to see it. Remember, Hashmonite, first temple time, Hashmonite wall, part of the corridor is in front of you. Here you can see the lower wall is, actually it's not a wall, it's a building from the First Temple time. And Hashmonite wall, you cannot see the arch here, but that was a gate. Is that a Ginat gate? Is that a place that Jesus actually left the city through the Church of the Holy Sepulchre that at this time wasn't a church? Question mark. Might be, if we're thinking about the alternative Via Dolorosa. If you reach that point, you're not hating me. Usually I will get some response that say, why do you do that? I'm just trying to ask questions. I'm not trying to change anything. Then, from right now, you can see that we are living the city. Following Jesus that carries cross, and maybe Saint Simon is now helping him to carry the cross. From here to the church, it's, let's say, less than 5 minutes. Then in that case, that place is shorter, that Via Dolorosa, shorter than the other Via Dolorosa. And think about him, he must carry his cross with him. We're entering now to the market. But that market was part of the corridor. It started here. Remember the main road that we saw? And no, thank you. And hand right here. The church that we are going to visit was built 300 years after Jesus' time, every Christian know that the church and the crucifixion place was outside the city. Then, if you're asking the Greek Orthodox and Catholic, Armenian, how can you accept the idea that the church is there? Then let me tell you that I'm sure that St. Helen, the mother of Constantine, the Caesar, the Byzantine Caesar, knew it. They knew it too. Then remember the walls of the city weren't here. Now it's empty. No buildings at the time of Jesus. We're heading to a quarry of King Herod. He used it to build the temple and his palace. And later on, after he died, the Jews used it as a burial site. And now we know that, and we know, according to the book of John, that Joseph of Arimathea had a garden there. And the Romans, after Jesus' time, used it as a crucifixion area. You know what? Let's go through there. Because it's, I think, more beautiful. We enter to the Moristan in Persian. It's a Persian word, but it's in English it's the hospital, and that is the center of the Hospitaller Crusaders. Look how beautiful it is. We're following Jesus. Although there are rumors that there are lots of tourists here, I can tell you that it started to be better. But just before the COVID-19, you couldn't walk here. It was so crowded here. You had to wait for 4 hours to reach the tomb of Jesus and the resurrection place as well. Then the church wasn't built at the time of Jesus. He didn't see a church. And we know now that Golgotha, the Calvary, is next to the garden of Joseph of Arimathea. And now we know that it's so close to each other, because usually the question that I've been asked is, how can it be that the church is so close to the church, the tomb is so close to the crucifixion place? Shalom. You can see a lovely Armenian monk in front of you, and welcome to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Most of things that you see here is from 11th and 12th century, but inside the church from time to time you can find places that were built at the 4th century by St. Helen and Constantine, and you can actually reach even places that were built here before, even part of the quarry of King Herod as well. Why they're not entering? They are. Wait, I can hear someone pray. Let's see where it is. Oh, it's 4 p.m. This is the Catholic ceremony at 4 o'clock. The last one that you will see here is called Yaakov, and he lives like the time of Jesus. He's such an amazing man. Oh, look at the Ethiopians. Look how beautiful it is. Now that church belongs to everyone. And this is the difference between your churches to here. You saw here Ethiopians, you saw here Armenian monk. You visit now, you saw the procession of the Catholic. And I will wait for them. Soon they will leave that place. You can see Armenian monk in front of you. Then let's first bless ourselves. Don't want to disturb the Catholic, but if it's okay by you, Rob, I want you to listen to it. It's beautiful. Then this is the tomb of Jesus, and I will bless your cross later, because I cannot go into the tomb with the video. There are two chapels here. You can see the light, the candlelight. This is the first chapel, is the place that the angels took care that no one will steal the body of Christ. And the inner part, this is the sarcophagus. Oh, I don't know. Oh, someone is praying there, just leaving the tomb area, and I will do that later on. Now, to convince the one who doesn't believe that this is the tomb, and again, I'm not here to convince you that what I'm doing is the true thing. Some people don't believe. Hey, Mashlumcha! Yo! Wait, I didn't see you for like 2 years. Wait, he's an amazing Catholic guy. He's got a restaurant nearby, and I didn't visit him for 2 years. And you know what? He's such an amazing person. For me, it doesn't matter if you are a Muslim, Christian, Palestinian, Israelis. If you are a human being, you are a human being. And I worship that. Now, to show you that it's not, that it might be the tomb, because it doesn't look like a tomb from the time of Jesus. True, isn't it? That structure is new, 19th century, mainly because it's been destroyed so many times. But when we will enter to that chapel, that doesn't look like $1 million chapel. True, doesn't it? I mean, look at the graffiti. This is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. It's the most important church for almost, I'd say, 90%, 80% of the Christians in the world. But that is because there are a lot of debates between the denomination themselves who owns that room. Is it owned by the Syriac Church, the Coptic Church, the Ethiopian Church, the Armenian Church? Then lots of debates. But this wall is from the 4th century, from St. Helen time. You can see the holes here that used to carry the marble. And in that area, you can see that there are more holes. Then it looks like such an important place. Let's use a flashlight. Difficult. Now, can you see the niches there? This is a tomb, a family tomb from the time of Jesus. That's how they used to bury the dead. In every niche, In Hebrew, it's called kuchim. Actually, in the English word, it's supposed to be kuchim too. They used to bury someone. The legs used to be at the exit. And if I will dare and enter, you can see that here there are more kuchim. Let me change the lens. All right. More kuchim, but they are being blocked. That's how they used to do that. Here, there's another one. Then altogether here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 niches. The legs used to be at the other side. I mean, close to us. And if the Jews believe that when they are buried the dead, his soul is still in his body for the next 3 days. Then what will happen to the 6th one? I mean, there's no place for him. They will take out the oldest body or oldest dead, and they will put his bones in an ossuary, in a box, and they will bury someone else. Now it's important for us because we know that Jesus was buried in the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea that no one used before. Ta-da-da! That is the tomb of Jesus that no one used before. He was given to Jesus by Pontius Pilate. And as we believe, Pontius Pilate, in his garden, built himself another tomb. Let's go to see what's happening with the Catholic procession. They're supposed to leave the Golgotha soon, and we will be able to climb it. They're still there. We're gonna cross the Armenian chapel, and before they would kick me out, because they're gonna bless that stone soon. You know what? First, let me bless it, because they're gonna close it soon. We believe that that's where they anointed the body of Jesus. In a way, because of the procession, we are starting from the end, from the resurrection in a way. And let's look at the story. The Catholics now are at the Calvary, Golgotha, upstairs. You can hear them. Soon when they will come to here, I will be quiet. And then, like a Jew, they purified his body and prepare him for the burial site. Before that, Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus begged Pontius Pilate. Remember in the New Testament, Pontius Pilate is a very nice person, and he gave Jesus' body immediately. They must bury him before sunset. Then they purified his body, and you can see here John, Mary the mother, such sad story. Mary Magdalene is here holding the hair of her. Here it is. And Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus are here as well. According to what we believe, this is the place, and he's going to kick me out soon. Then I'm going out because he's going to close that place. And he's doing it now. Then you can see the cave, the tomb. Let me just go out. Thank you. I'm going to stand right here. And from here, there's a lovely point. We can see how they're blessing the place. You see they are closing the door, at least most of it. And I will sit here and wait for them.
Pace perunt Iosef et Nicodemus corpus Iesu, et liga verunt illudic lintris eumca, cum aromatibus sicut mos et Iudeis epeliete. Olium et pulsum nomen tuum, idea adolescentum et excelute, oremus. Domine Iesu Christe, qui tuum sacratissimum corpus tuorum condescendens devotioni fidelium, in ungi capes dem permissisti, concede ut corda nostra unzione gratiae Tue, valeant ab omni infectione peccati preservati, qui vivis et regnas in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen Tuum, adveniat regnum Tuum, fiat voluntas Tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Pane nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimitte nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. Ave Maria, gratia plena Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Santa Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filio, et Spiritui Sancto, sic erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
That was touching, and let's climb up just to bless it at the Golgotha. That's where they nailed Jesus into the cross. This part is a Catholic part. And soon the Pietà, Mary with the spear in her heart. But the most important part is the crucifixion. You can see the bedrock of the Golgotha. Jesus was on the cross. We are already in the Greek Orthodox part. John and Mary beside him. You're gonna close. It's lit because of the procession, so it won't be like that. And I'm actually happy that it's like that. Are you waiting in the line? Are you waiting for that?
No.
Can I?
Please.
Thank you very much. Then, according to the Greek Orthodox, this is the exact spot of the crucifixion. I'm going to use a flashlight. Put my hand in the hole to touch the bedrock for you and to bless the cross. This is the first time that I've been asked to do the alternative Via Dolorosa according to the article, and I'm happy that I did it for you, Pastor, and Rob, the other Rob. Thank you very much for asking me to do that. I really love that article. I don't know what is the truth, but it's, if you will talk about what I felt, is that this is really an optional Via Dolorosa. We cannot say no, we cannot say yes, but we definitely cannot say no. Then thank you very, very much for being with me. See you next time. And if you didn't subscribe my channel, do that. If you hate me, please don't. That's it. Have a great weekend soon. Bye bye.